Oh, Mary.
Alrighty. So we're getting out the acid, shall we? Worked pretty hard on this. I hope you enjoy it, and I hope it works wonders for you. So good evening, everybody. If you haven't met me, I'm James. I'm a red language leader here. I'm pretty excited to be presenting for my second time in front of you all. Welcome everybody that's watching tonight, and everybody that's watching in the future. Welcome to past. Yeah, fancy indeed. It's an honour to be presenting for you tonight, as it is always to serve as a leader. And this asset is called Amending Hatred. Specifically, amending hatred. Does anybody know what the difference between amending and mending means?
Like when you try to fix something and fixing something in the time being?
Yes, pretty much. Yeah, that's a really good definition. It's basically a fixed work in progress instead of fixing. So you're working towards solving a problem, sort of thing. So we want to be working towards solving our hatred that's within us. So tonight, I'm not really talking about the classic, oh, bloody hell, I hate Brussels sprouts. You know? I love Brussels sprouts, it's bloody marvellous.
What?
Oh, Jesus, I hate smelling grandma's purse. Gotta thank Phil for that one. You know? That was pretty funny. But I'm really talking about something heavy when I say hatred. It's a pretty strong word, and this asset isn't designed to give you a solution to hatred. What I really want you to get out of this asset is something to start working towards solving problems to help you to alleviate yourself from being a hateful person. Yeah, so this 20 minutes obviously isn't going to fix everybody's problems, and it's not tailored to everybody's hatred, right? We all have different forms of hatred, different forms of anger. Anger is a different thing, which might come in a future asset, but we're mainly focusing on hatred tonight. And some people may need to seek professional help on this topic, which is very important to keep in mind. True hatred is a byproduct of becoming offended, becoming angry at somebody or something that has offended you, and then moving on to a state of bitterness that sort of keeps spiraling down into a hateful state of mind. It's something that has pretty major consequences if it's not contained, but it can be manipulated and controlled to stop it from lasting. And I think that's a really important thing. We can be hateful for a short amount of time that doesn't have major consequences. And sometimes being angry is a good thing because it's a natural retaliation of the mind when our personal values are defaced. If we know what that means. Does anybody know? Excuse me, not know what defaced means? No? Good, good. Yeah. So my first question of the night, please don't raise your hand, but do this in your head. This is for you personally. I really want you to focus on yourself instead of what anybody else thinks at the moment. You have my permission, right? You have everybody's permission in this room not to expose yourself to this. Put your hand up in your mind if there is something at the moment that you really, really hate. There's something that really just ticks you off, really takes the biscuit, right? And you're like, I absolutely hate that something, or I hate that someone. You know, something that's just fuming out of you. Everything towards that thing or someone is just absolutely terrible. You know? That sort of hatred that you're thinking about right now doesn't just come from your brain. You're not just like, I hate that thing. As I said before, I'm talking about the stuff that comes from in your heart, in your chest. Like every word on your breath is just horrendous hatred for something. And it's really the first step in amending one's hatred is to recognize it's there. That can be quite a difficult thing for some people, to recognize that you actually really hate something that much. But to recognize it's there is kind of telling yourself, right, there's something that's wrong that needs to be fixed. And that's kind of starting a little ticking of a timer saying something does need to be fixed. And you can kind of go from there and say, right, this is what I'm going to start to do to kind of push me in the right direction, even if it's just 1 degree at a time. I want you to keep this thing or someone on your mind for the rest of this pattern as we explore what this is actually doing to you as a person and how it can affect other people. I'm just going to lock this room because that's there we go. I just want to give you an example because I want to try and put this into perspective for you. On January 30, 1933 was the beginning of a campaign that was about to start ending the lives of millions of people. Right? 13 years later, the source of the campaign ended his life because of the side effects of his own hatred. The reign of terror that this man produced was only based on the hatred of a race, not just one person, but an entire race of people, or a belief which had developed from multiple experiences of anger toward people of Jewish descent. I'm speaking of Adolf Hitler, who endorsed extinguishing of an entire race of people worldwide solely due to his hateful ways. As I'm sure you can understand the importance of the point that I'm trying to make, sometimes allowing our anger to get so harsh towards something, someone, a concept, can have really severe consequences, such as in this example, ending people's lives. And that's pretty heavy. Life is a very precious currency, if you like. Not so much a currency, because it shouldn't be expendable, but it's very precious life. So, that's lovely. So as I'm sure you understand the importance of the point that I'm trying to make, sometimes allowing our anger to get too far out of hand can lead to these bad consequences. Went out and bought a couple of candles today. It's pretty nice candle, right? So again, Big W, I was like, yeah, that's a nice candle. Had nothing to do with it. No, it did. I had something to do with it. I don't just go down to Big W and buy $4 candles. Nice red light there. Wonder what that's for. So, this candle, I want everybody to pass this candle around the room and squeeze the crap out of it. Right? Squeeze it as absolutely hard as you can. The person or concept that you thought of before, put all of the hatred, the real fuming hatred that you had before, into this candle. Right? I want you to smash it all into this candle as if, I don't know, you're crushing a skull or something. Pass around the room. Right? Give it a big squeeze, right? Squeeze all that hate into it, and then just drop it and pass it to the next person. There you go. Good. Use both hands. Yep, absolutely good face. Judge me!
Take 30 seconds for 5 minutes.
No, it's pretty solid. It's a solid candle, so you probably won't get too far, but if you can, just squeeze the absolute life out. Pick it.
Oh, you guys
Hey, this people. Hatred. I'm proud of it. Yeah.
Give it a sniff on the way too.
Isn't it unscented?
Yeah.
Smells like wax.
It's probably what's my yeah, it probably will smell like hatred by the end. Yeah, smelly
Oh, does it? Yeah. Still want it back on. Yeah, fair enough.
That's why keep passing it around. Just crush the light out. Just really think about it. Yeah, that's the way. Good stuff. Keep it going around it. Keep passing it. Yeah, exactly. Chuck the finger. Keep passing around.
Why did they move here?
There's like that much of and also like mucking around. So we put it
going to move away from the light.
Anybody not squeeze the candle? Almost done.
Freezing it. Everyone has space.
Squeeze it. You happy?
Unconscious.
That's a way to start. That nearly took someone out. Alright, so there's our candle. It's pretty munted to me. Can't see it on the cameras. There you go.
Really nice and love heart.
Oh yeah.
Oh, there's a nice love heart in there. That's well done. Alright, so this candle has the entire room's hate squeezed into it. Right? Heaps of defacing, heaps of rumples, heaps of scratches. Right? Yeah, go for it. So that candle, and if you want to plug that in for me, so this candle, with all of its bumps, scratches, and Jesus. Okay, so that's not working anymore. So this candle has so much crap done to it, right? I see this candle as a pretty good representation of myself. Pretty good representation. And I see this candle is a pretty good representation of... You right there, Tyler? The light's fine. I see this candle as a pretty good representation of all of us, really, in its nature. As we go through life, keeps throwing punches our way. It's a little edge and just chips off the side of us every now and then, you know. something pisses us off, and they go, somebody does something to really emotionally hurt you. You think, no, damn, that's really affected me. I hate the way that person treated me. Makes you feel really powerless sometimes. This candle probably feels powerless as we pass it around the room. Squeeze the crap out of it, can't get out of it, no? Got a little story for you. I'm not going to go too far into detail for it, but as I was growing up, my father was a brilliant man, but his way of teaching was a little bit different to everybody else's. Big slap on the wrist every time something went wrong, right? Something went wrong that I was obviously at fault for, but I didn't want to admit it, right? I'm not saying he's a bad person for it, I'm saying he's a good one, because that's made me into the man that I am today. But every little slap on the wrist, every little chip it away at my candle, it just kind of kept stacking on itself. Eventually I was like, damn, I hate that man sometimes. Sometimes I go up to my room and I think, oh, I hate this smell. Even though I knew that it was my fault. I did stuff that was kind of stupid sometimes, I guess. Just kept chipping away like this candy. But in life, we have a choice to make every day that we get out of bed. Everything that chips away at our candle, every little nick off the shoulder, we have a choice to make. Whether we can let it consume us and be hateful people ourselves, or whether we can light our candle. That's our choice. Whether to wake up or let that hatred control us, or whether we wake up every day and we light our candle and we say, this is my day. This hatred inside me, it's not going to control me. And that's a challenge that I have for you. Don't let your hatred within control the person that you become. Use it to become a better person. Recognize it's there. That's very important. Recognize that the hatred is within. And then choose to light your candle. And lastly, get the help that you need. Because that's very important. Sometimes we all need a bit of help. Sometimes we need a bit of professional help. There's nothing wrong with that. That's what psychologists and psychiatrists are there for. You know, to help us with this sort of stuff. So I want to challenge you tonight to take the first step. Recognize what your hatred is coming from and why it is there. Although being angry is very much a human factor, meaning we're prone to it, we're prone to acting in a defensive manner whenever something defiles what we believe in, we can stop that anger from spiraling down, into something that's more dreadful than just being angry. So, to start with, recognize that it's there, why it's there. Make the choice every day to get up and light your candle, no matter what life throws at you, no matter what people say, no matter how much you might hate something. Your power comes from lighting your candle. And then finding your help. Finding your help to release the anger over time that it's taken to build up. Because it won't just go away like that. Definitely won't just go away. And get help where you need it. Thank you for for listening.